tactic.
I would not have had.
Good morning. My name is Chris Caius. I'm Chairman of the Kane County Administration Committee, and I'm calling this meeting to order at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Arroyo, Garcia,
See it here.
Thumbs, Young, Juby,
Over here.
Caius,
Guys present.
Roth.
Roth is here.
With the use of your ex officio, you have an in-person quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum. Thank you for being here, Mr. Roth,
You're welcome, Mr. Caius.
as well as everyone else, of course.
Yeah.
too.
Good to be with all of you.
Yes, it's mutual. We have a remote attendance request from Commissioner Gums. Is she online? I don't see her online, but she said she may not make it. But I would ask for unanimous consent to allow her on if she does join us.
No problem.
Okay, any objections? None? Okay, great. Thank you. Then on to approval of minutes, I would entertain a request for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from October 15th, 2025. From someone?
I'll do it. I would request unanimous approval for the minutes from October 15, 2025.
Any objections? Any changes? Hearing none. Minutes are approved. I have one signed up for public comment, but we'll have her, Ms. Christine Harmon, later during that, when we present and consider that resolution toward the end of the meeting. Then on to the executive director's report, or actually the financial reports are on file. If there's any questions, you can refer to those and our financial director. Then on to the executive director's report, Mr. Roger Fonstock.
Okay, good morning, Roger Fonstock with IT and Building Management. I have two things that I wanted to talk about briefly. One, as some of you are aware, yesterday we had a electrical power event at this campus. They isolated it to the utility provider, which is the City of Geneva Electric. They were engaged early on and on site. And they discovered some problems between, I think, the transformer and the building. And they were out late last night, or I guess it would have been Monday night, repaired by Tuesday morning. But I just wanted to bring to your attention the fact that the emergency plan for this campus involves using diesel generators to power the buildings. And we managed to keep the entire campus and buildings operating and all the services operating throughout the entire day into the evening off of emergency power. So all of the work that building management and the people that have been here when we did the original planning for generators, all of that actually got exercised and tested yesterday, and we ran everything pretty much without incident. So I just wanted to applaud Kevin and his team in building management, Charles and the IT team that put all the power in closets for phones and switches and computers. There's a lot that goes on. There are hundreds of batteries. There are generators all over this campus, fuel levels, making sure that the power is regulated and the breakers are working properly. I mean, there's just a ton of work that goes into it, and you don't get to test it to that level. We run tests weekly to exercise the generators, and annually, I think twice a year, we put loads on them. But it's a good test of your emergency preparedness to have an event like that and to see it work. So just congratulations to Charles and Kevin for all their work on that.
Real quick, just a comment.
Yeah.
That light back there is a predictor when it's going to go on, because that light came on about 15 seconds before the power went out.
It's a predictor.
Well, because it's a sensor, it's an emergency light.
Yeah, if the power's cut, it should, they should come on.
But
And
that
then,
came on first.
yeah. We had an event. We're still working to find out exactly the source of everything, because there was a loud noise that was made sometime just before we discovered everything. And then the transfers, though, for the generators worked flawlessly. So just
And
it's
I
good.
think that noise was the north side of the boardroom here. No, just
Sure.
I don't know. Are my I noticed that the plug-in for my electric car wasn't working this morning still, but
That's probably a breaker. We can check on that.
Or
again.
an unpaid
mentioned that.
bill, or an unpaid bill.
that's right.
Yeah. They did dig a small window opening out in the yard and they've repaired that, so it's back together. So
Oh,
that,
there.
yeah, that must have been where they found, whatever problem they were having, so. Okay, and then the other item that I had, I sent out this morning, we received, earlier this week or I think over the weekend, a broker opinion of value for a piece of real estate that the county owns. And I wanted to just go over a couple of things briefly and not get into the weeds or details with this, but we were asked about the value of the parcels on Fabian Parkway and uses, potential uses. And there is a committee of the whole meeting that's going to be scheduled for December where they're going to talk about potential uses of the property, and also there's a potential for solar. There, Jody Wolnick, Mavis Bates from the board is working on a presentation for that. We're going to be working with them. But I wanted to bring the opinion of value to your attention. We sent it in an email. You can read it on your own if you have questions. I'm going to cover 3 pages out of the 30, just as an overview. So if you have a copy of this and you go to page 3, on page 3, it gives you the acreage, the PIN numbers, and the description of the actual parcel is highlighted in the upper right. And you'll notice that it's the former campus of the sheriff's office and the adult corrections. It also includes the recycling center to the far west side of the property. And then there's a 427-foot radio tower in the middle of the property. There's also a storage garage that's a remnant from when the sheriff was there. It's still being used by sheriff and building management. And then in the center of the property towards the front, you'll see there's a little grove of trees, and that's where the Amaso White House is located. That's a 1846 frontier settlement home. So those are the current uses on the property. There's some roads. We do some mowing and some snow removal. There's also occasionally some surface lot storage. The sheriff will use the lot for from time to time if they have some things they need to park somewhere. But primarily, the only physical activity on the campus is the storage building, the tower, and the recycling. So those are the things that are on there. It is almost 40 acres. It's 39.69 acres. So if you go to page 6, they give you kind of a brief summary of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. They kind of tell you what they think is good about the property, what they think is not so good about the property, and what you might face during potential sale or trying to develop the property. And then if you go to page 25, which is really the valuation, the market data approach. The left side of this is the highest and best used for a residential market, and the right side is highest and best used for commercial property. So think on the left, residential, dense housing, maybe mixed development with, some retail and higher end housing all the way down to lower end housing on the bottom of the pyramid. But they're showing you, anywhere from $1 million to 8.6 million, depending on what type of residential development you have. On the commercial side, they're showing you anywhere, from 1.7 million to 8.6 million. On the commercial side, it goes from 2.16 to 4.3. So they give you some really, really big ranges, but that's also highly dependent upon the type of development that goes into the property. And we obviously can do certain amounts of activities when we're trying to sell the property, or if we were to redevelop the property. Right now, as the owner, we have total discretion, short of zoning and special use. But once you sell the property and it's in somebody else's hands, then you're kind of on the outside trying to control zoning and special use. So I think most of the time when we discuss it, we try to look at the property as having a value between 4 and 6 million. I think that's kind of the range marketable. You can expect the highest use at 8.6 million and probably the least highest use at 1.7 million. But those are the numbers. I mean, so you're like, okay, well, it's only $2 to $8 million. That's a big range. I would narrow it to the 4 to 6 is a pretty good range of numbers for that piece of property. But if you took your time, marketed it, found the right developer, you could conceivably get higher. So that's all we had for the presentation. This is going to be a part of a broker portion of the committee of the whole that will be shared in December. And we're going to try to get Brian Carroll out to help explain more about this in detail. Brian from JLO helped put this together with his team. I just wanted to recognize them as well, but we're going to have him here for the committee of the whole. I'm done.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Question.
All right. Oh, Miss Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alan, also not on the committee, but I am remembering that one of the things that we talked about, if we sell the property outright, whoever buys it can do whatever they want, subject to zoning and special use. But one of the strategies we were talking about was that if we made the sale subject to offer, that we would have some control over, somebody could say, I am willing to pay this much for the property and here's what I want to do. And they would be negotiating with us that their use, something that would be good for us or that we would approve, and therefore we would be willing to consider their offer. Is that still an option to try and have that in-between
Yeah.
territory where we
I-
have something to say about who we sell to?
This is Roger again. So those are all strategies, and I think it'd be good to talk with, who we would use as the listing agent to discuss what they thought was the best strategy for selling the property. You certainly can list it for, a non-specific price and see what types of offers come in. I think we would want to work, with the city of Geneva and some of even the neighbors to the south in Batavia. It is like right on the municipal property lines. We have talked with the city of Geneva a couple of times about potential uses of the property, and they've described it everything from residential to mixed use to industrial. So they've kind of have a whole wide variety of ideas about it and been relatively open, but we haven't pursued it because it's just never gone that far.
Sure.
But I think once you've found someone that wanted to develop it, I think everyone would at least want to have an interest in how it's developed. It's been, it's not been controversial or anything. But it is the frontage in front of the landfill, and there's been discussions about developing it in a number of different ways. So it could go a lot of different directions, I think.
Sure. And I'm just gonna throw out that one of the things that's of greatest concern to me is that it's public space. It's incredibly well-located public space. It's always been our public space. I don't have a crystal ball to say what the future use of that public space would be, but if we sell it, it is no longer public space and it will never come back to being public space. And that's a big if as far as my view on that property. So,
Thank you, Miss Allen. I don't want to get this to devolve into the conversation now. I want to make sure, as the chair, that we're presented with the materials that we have available as early as possible. That was the purpose of this. So if you have any questions specific to figures in this or something, did you have a comment,
Yeah,
Mr. State's Attorney?
Ken Shepro, a special ASA, just to respond to Mrs. Allen's first point. Typically, the more specific, if you sell it outright, you're going to get a lower price. A person is willing to pay more contingent on getting what they want. So if you just say, we want to sell it, somebody's going to buy it and have to deal with the whole range of options that are set out in the report. If someone says, if you say, I want to sell it for whatever we think the best, highest price is, that person is unlikely to do it, except on a contingent basis. If I get what I want, I'll pay you what you want.
Okay, again, I don't want to, thank you for
Yeah.
your comment. That's all valuable stuff, and I think we'll be covering this more in depth when we get to the committee of the whole and that sort of thing. Mr. Roth, do you have something specific to this?
not to that. Mr.
so-
Arroyo is here, so he is quorum
Oh.
without, so
Oh,
I
thank
will
you.
now not be part of the
Thank you for
quorum.
making note of that. Yes.
Yes.
Welcome, Mr. Arroyo. So still nice to have you here.
Of course, and then I'll stay.
Yeah, okay, great. So, any other questions specific to this report that would be right now? And I encourage you to talk with, our staff, as members of this committee. And, if you have any questions that come up later, to, cover any of the questions that we can as early as possible with this, at least bring them to the fore. So we'll have data to back up whatever your questions, rise. Okay, then that's it for you, Mr. Fonsa.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you, sir. Then we'll move on to building management, Mr. Kevin Harris. And I'm going to, I'll ask for a resolution, for someone to move a resolution, present, potentially approve, authorizing a contract extension for Kane County HVAC maintenance and repair services with One Source Mechanical Incorporated, Hartwig Mechanical Incorporated, Air Comfort LLC, RJ O'Neill Incorporated, and FE Moran Incorporated for mechanical services for building management department. That is bid number 23-007. That would be on page 16, TMP 25-1377, I believe. And Mr. Harris, would you like to?
Yes, this was approved a while ago as a 2-year contract with 3 one-year extensions. This is a second 1-year extension. These are on an as-needed basis for our HVAC maintenance and repair. These are our boilers, our chillers, our evaporators, faulty pumps, heat exchangers. When we have high heat days and very cold days, these are the folks that come out and help us repair. We need multiple vendors because not every vendor is always available all the time. And so this gives us flexibility to use who is the most appropriate and who's the most available, given the issue that we have. And so this again is just a 1-year extension on an as-needed basis only.
And that's 1 year of a 3-year.
It was
extension.
originally a 2-year contract with 3 one-year extensions. This is a second 1-year extension.
All right, great. Thanks. Any questions for Mr. Harris?
Mr. Chair, Juby moves that we accept this. So we can,
Oh, yeah, moved by Juby, second by Arroyo.
and yes, I have questions.
Sorry, I should have done that first. Yes, you have questions?
Yeah, I just have one. So I see that Source Mechanical is the only one that put their overtime hours down and their weekend rates and their holiday rates. Are they consistent with everybody else's overtime?
They have different overtime rates in the company and they have different standard rates as well. But it allows us to see them. Everyone else kept theirs, I believe, the same way as they were before. I'm not sure about that though, but they all have their own unique rate systems.
Well, the reason why I asked is because everybody's like regular hourly rate was pretty similar.
Mhm.
And then I couldn't find anybody else's OT and like Sunday and stuff like that. So I just wondered, are these just incredibly high or is this about what we expect to pay? Like they're saying holidays are $3.12 an hour. Is that typical of what like FE Moran would charge? Or is that like really high? Because if that's really high, we don't really want to use them if we don't have to.
So when it's really high, you don't want to use them on holidays. That's absolutely
Right,
correct because they're
right.
going to be getting double time versus time and a half for another company.
Right.
But this gives us the ability to understand that, and we ask them to make their prices transparent so we can make those decisions. Most of our work is not during holidays, though. It's typically during the work hours, your typical 9 to 5 work hours. Sometimes on evenings, unless we have emergencies, but emergencies are quite different.
So could you just drop me a line that tells me what everybody else's
Yeah,
or emergency and whatever, because it wasn't in the packet.
we'll get that for you.
Thank you.
Okay. That answer your question? Thank you, Ms. Judy. Okay, then roll call, please.
Arroyo. Garcia. Garcia, yes. Juby.
Juby, I.
Bias.
Yes. And passes. May I have motion second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing natural gas utility brokering and purchase agreement. Moved by
Juby.
Juby, second by.
Second.
And once again, or Roger.
Yeah, I'll take this one. This is for brokering our natural gas utility. We currently buy natural gas through a supplier, which is Constellation Energy. That agreement will come due in the near future in April. It will be ending. We've been working with Tradition Energy as a broker and have worked with them in the past as a professional service to broker our energy contracts. So what we're looking for natural gas, it's about $300,000 a year that we purchase. And it's usually measured in decatherms. So we buy, let's say, 50,000 decatherms a year. And they kind of rate you based on your consumption, and you get different rates based on the broker market. What happens, the broker will go out and solicit all the suppliers, and they will give us pricing back and discuss it with us. And you have to actually sign the contract within 24 hours or same day in order to get that fixed pricing. So in the past, what we've done is used a broker to get the pricing done. And then we pre-authorize the chairman of the county to sign those agreements with the broker who's the most responsible, lowest rates. So it's really the only way you can do it. If we waited 30, 45 days to come back, the rates would all change, and they would consistently change month to month. We've been working with Jody Wolnick and her team on the energy and supplier contracts. And the idea was that we could potentially go out early with the broker and get early adjustments to the natural gas contracts and save money if we do this in advance. We don't have to. We can wait if we think the prices are not lower than what we currently pay. But we think that we'll get some advantage and lock in potentially a 2 or 3 year. This is designed to authorize the chairman of the county to sign up to a 2-year agreement. And I believe there's also 3 1-year extensions that we can take. We've never taken the extensions. We inevitably go out to the broker. The broker process is relatively inexpensive. I've talked to Steve Ford from the state's attorney's office about this. He said we may have some additional language around the broker just to clear up additional language about using Tradition Energy as the broker. I did show him and share with him, I'll share with you, that the broker at our amount of supplier energy that we're buying, they estimate that our fees would be about $10,000, $10,000 to $12,000 based on the 50,000 decatherms. So it's not a $30,000 agreement with the broker, but it's a $300,000 agreement with the supplier. And again, our supplier, it's not due until April. But if we go out early, we could save some money between now and the end of April, and there's no penalty for doing that. We can actually reissue another natural gas contract and start over. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. This is a budgeted expense, and it's in various budgets under natural gas and utility.
Okay, Ms. Juby?
So you're estimating between 10 and 12,000 for the broker price for Tradition.
Yes.
What was the price for Constellation?
The Constellation's the supplier itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
so-
bid on our work, and they'll bid on our new contract. They'll be one of the top bidders.
So who was our previous broker then?
We've used for different purposes. We used Vanguard. We've used Progressive Energy for
Okay.
electric, and we've also used there's another one.
But this is a pretty,
Yeah,
Pretty
they're
normal
all
fee.
similar.
okay, that's all I
There
want to
were,
know.
yeah, this was done, I think there was 5 different vendors, but it's not a bid requirement because it's not even $30,000, but
I was just curious.
very similar rates.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Yes.
Garcia, yes. Juby,
Juby, I,
Bias.
Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Then on to information technologies. We'll have Charles Lasky reporting on that. I would ask for presentation of a resolution to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing the use of the state of Illinois contract to purchase hardware and services through Presidios, JPMC VoIP, and Cisco Equipment and Services Contract for the Information Technology Department. That is contract number CMT 4021089. That's TMP 1390 on page 23 for your reference in our agenda. That's moved by
Arroyo moves.
Arroyo, second by
Ruby,
Juby. Mr. Lasky?
Hi, this is Charles Lasky with the IT department. So this resolution is authorizing us to purchase specifically hardware. We have another resolution related to software that's coming right after this off of a state contract. So this was bid out by the state of Illinois. We have the pricing and the various vendors, and many of the vendors we use for our purchases. I did send out a presentation. I have a presentation if you'd like me to go over kind of the scope of the software and hardware we have budgeted. This is for $950,000. Our software one is 1.2. But overall, we have more than that between our various funds that we manage, that we purchase equipment through. So I have a presentation if you'd like to see more detail about where the various money comes from for this, but this is something we'd recommend approval for. It will give us access to state pricing that was competitively bid out. We've used state contracts for other things like our Verizon contract. We've used it for AT&T, so it's been advantageous for us. We also still go out and do pricing for other products, even when we have contracts like this. One I was talking with Mr. Caius about was we have a QNAP that we're purchasing. It is about $1,000, but we still went out and got 5 quotes. And we still pick the lowest quote. So we still try to follow up and hold vendors accountable no matter what contracts we have. So we would recommend approval. And if you would like to see more information, I can go over that presentation with you.
I'll leave it up to, is there anybody on the committee specifically interested in doing that? I don't see any hands raised, so we can move on then. So it's moved by Arroyo and Juby. Juby, no other questions or no questions on this for Mr. Lasky? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Garcia. Yes. Juby,
Ruby, I.
Caius, yes. Then I would request the presentation and potential approval of a resolution authorizing the use of the state of Illinois contract to purchase software and services through Presidio, JPMC VoIP, and Cisco Equipment and Services contract for the Information Technology Department contract number CMT 4021089, which is in your agenda, TMP 25-1392 on page 79 for your reference. Moved by
Ruby,
Juby, second by
Garcia.
Garcia.
Yes, this is Charles Lasky. So this is the same contract through the state of Illinois, but it's for our software purchases. And so we have $1.2 million per fiscal year of software purchases. So we would recommend approval for this as well.
Same story, different product.
Yep.
Okay, no comments, no questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Juby,
Ruby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. All right, motion passes. On to Geographic Information Systems, GIS. We have Mr. Lebo here. And I would ask for a presentation and potential approval of a resolution authorizing a master license agreement with Verity GIS, software for GIS. Moved by
Ruby,
Juby, second by
Garcia.
Garcia. And you're up.
Okay. Hi, this is Kurt Lebo from the Kane County GIS Department. So this agreement is a master license agreement with Vertigis. So it's an agreement that says what we can and cannot do with the software. Vertigis is a company that we're going to enter into 2 purchase orders with, one for software, one for professional services. And we wanted to get this in front of the board before we did those purchases. It has been reviewed by the civil division and everything has been cleared and ready to go.
Okay. Any questions for Kurt? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Juby,
Ruby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Anything from Mill Creek, Mr. Fonstock?
The only thing I'd like to say is just thank you for the support for the levy for Mill Creek. We ran that through the county board meeting and the levy was approved. I know the people on the advisory board appreciated the work that we did. That was something that happened between October 27th and November 10th. So it had to occur pretty fast and we managed to get it done and just appreciate the support.
Thanks to staff for getting it to us. All right. Any questions about that from anybody? Okay, on to 12 vehicles. Item A, I request someone to present and potentially approve a resolution approving the purchase of 5 2026 tandem axle truck cab and chassis for the Kane County Division of Transportation. Moved by
Juby,
second by
Garcia.
Garcia. I see Mike's back there. There he is right there.
Yeah, good morning. Michael Way from KDOT. Before you use the resolution to approve the purchase of 5 tandem axle Kenworth trucks for our fleet. 4 of these will be snow plows and 1 will be a tractor truck that's used to haul equipment around, haul our bomb or things like that. Due to locking in the prices, the body packages for those the 4 snow plows actually passed county board on Monday. So those have been passed and approved. You will see a $50,000 contingency on there. That is due to the fact that these trucks are currently being produced in Canada. So with the tariffs and all that, but we are working on, Kenworth is working on expanding their Ohio plant. And they intend to get the T480s made in Ohio, roughly beginning of FY26. So we might be losing those tariffs with that. But we just want to put the contingency in there just in case they're not ready by then. So staff recommends approval.
Okay. Ms. Juby?
So I noticed that like the original submission date was March 27th, 2024. Is that because they were unavailable at the time? Or did something change?
Original, the PO, the request for that was March.
Yeah, March 2024.
Yeah, so we've been working on their work a whole year in advance. So we
Okay.
actually put a $5,000 deposit down per chassis, and that was taken to the board on 4/8
Got it.
to lock in
Thanks.
those spots.
That's all thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Way? Roll call, please.
Arroyo.
Yes.
Garcia, yes. Juby.
Juby, aye.
Yes.
Caius, yes. Okay, and under new business, may I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing the placement of a historical marker and liberty tree to honor Revolutionary War patriots buried in Kane County. Moved by
Moose.
Arroyo, second by Juby. And we do have, Mr. Zimmerman.
Good morning, Jake Zimmerman with the Veterans Assistance Commission. As we all know, the next year is the 250th birthday of America, or more sophisticatedly, the semi-quincentennial. Looked that up for the meeting today. And as part of that, the Elias Kent Kane chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution submitted a proposal to place a marker and a tree at the 3rd Street Courthouse as part of the celebration next year. I do have 3 members of the Daughters of the American Revolution here. This proposal was ran through the Chief Judge's office and approved by them as well as the state's attorney. It begins on page 193 of your packet, and I do have the regent of the Elias Kent Kane chapter, Chris Harmon, here, if you have any additional questions or concerns.
Did you want to speak, Chris? Since you signed up.
Yes, please. Thank you. Christine Harmon, Regent of the Elias Kent Kane Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. As Jake said, the semi-quincentennial is next year. And the Daughters of the American Revolution are very passionate about that. And so we are looking to have a big celebration. We'd love to do it with the county. We would love to place a marker, as Jake said, at the courthouse on 3rd Street, the old courthouse, that would honor the 5 patriots that fought in the Revolutionary War who are buried here in Kane County, and Liberty Tree as well with that marker. We planted by seed as part of a DAR initiative the seed for the tree and we are lovingly caring for it and growing it ourselves. So it's very special to us as well. And I ask that you all do a little research on Liberty trees. Back during the Revolution, obviously, we know being a patriot was treason. And so they would gather under these trees kind of in secret and hold their meetings and discussions. So it is a big part of history, and we think it would be a great marker and commemoration to have here in Kane County. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Ms. Juby?
I have two questions. One is it related to the original tree from Boston?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It is an American elm tree, which is the original
Great.
Liberty tree.
Wonderful. And where on the property were you envisioning it?
We're not entirely sure. That's going to kind of depend. The tree does get quite large, and so it would sort of depend on the space and the recommendations we get from the county as to where we would place it. We would like a very visible area, obviously, but we realize it might depend on spacing for the tree.
Right. May I ask a follow-up?
Sure.
So if it's not feasible to place the tree with the other current markers that are on the steps, would it be okay to split the marker up from the tree so that the marker actually stays with the other memorials and then the tree is somewhere
Yes.
locally on that property?
Yes,
Oh,
we
okay.
do have in our proposal a mock-up of a plaque with just the Patriots, and then we have a mock-up with the Patriots marker with the tree. So we do have the option to do either.
Okay, I didn't know that second one was with the tree. I was just like, oh, look, they have two different like things. Okay, got
Right,
it.
one is with the tree and it describes the Liberty tree. The other is just the Patriots.
Mr. Chairman, quickly.
Oh, Mr. Royal?
Hi, how are you? Welcome. Happy to
Thank you.
have you here. If the tree is too, what kind of tree is it?
It's an American elm.
If it's too big, is it possible here at the government center to plant it? If it's too big for the courthouse? Or is it planned, does it have to be at the courthouse?
So there's a couple reasons when we talked about this, when it was coming forward to do it at Third Street. One is the longevity of this campus. I know there's been different proposals involving this campus.
True.
Secondly, the Civil War monument that's up at the Third Street Courthouse honors those who served in the Civil War versus the one here on campus honors those who died in war and on active
Okay.
duty. So we thought it may be more appropriate up there for those two reasons.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. And Madam Chair, we'll give her deference. Is that okay with you? Then State's Attorney
Thanks. Oh, thank you.
afterwards.
I can't tell you how thrilled I am. When Jake shared this with me, he captured me when I was in the hallway and shared this incredible good news. You made my day. You made my whole week. I'm just so excited that the county, through your help, is going to be able to have a Liberty tree. Yeah, it means a great deal to me, and I want my sincere gratitude and excitement. Meanwhile, I did have a chance to speak with Chief Judge Villa about this, and he mentioned it, and he is also completely enthused about this. We are looking at location because I understand the tree is going to have to take have some room for sunlight, and so we tentatively have addressed a location, but of course it has to go through approvals and whatnot, where it can grow to be a mighty beautiful tree that maybe future board members can gather under to discuss the issues of the day.
For lunch, yeah, there you go. And from our historian,
Yeah, Ken
or
Shep-
ASA.
Ken Shepro, local historian. My first assignment is to assist. The chapter is asked to have I think the national, as I understand it, the national office would like to have the very extensive and detailed research that has already been done by the chapter reviewed by historical experts, so-called. And I'm in the process of doing that. We'll, I think, have some ideas for a second person to do that. By the time this reaches the next level, I will produce a picture. I think my property has perhaps the oldest elm tree in the county. And it is very tall, very large, somehow survived the Dutch elm epidemic, knock on Formica.
Whatever you got.
I think that may be one of the issues that's going to have to be reviewed as to where exactly that will go. But they are, when you imagine the streets of America that were once lined with the elms, and you see this tree and you realize what a terrible loss it was when virtually all of them died and were cut down. But this is a very exciting, for those of you that are familiar with the area, the most visible monument currently is the obelisk to Abner Powell, who is in the Lily Lake Cemetery on Route 47, just north of Empire Road, which was dedicated, I believe, in the 1890s, early 1900s, to a very large celebration, speeches, imported speakers, and so forth. The other four did not receive such a commemoration, and this is a wonderful opportunity to do that. So I also would join in hoping that you will pass this on.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments? Roll call, please.
Arroyo.
Arroyo, yes.
Yeah, yes. Juby.
Should aye.
Caius, yes. Motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. And on a side note from the chair of the committee, my mom was a proud member of the Lewiston, Idaho DAR. She won a national award for poetry about 15 years ago on a poem she wrote when my brother went off in the Navy to fly. So, and for some reason that choked me up. I don't know why. So then, anything else, any old business? Then I would entertain a request to place the reports on file. Arroyo, request that we place unanimous consent to place the reports on file. Are there any objections? Hearing none, reports are on file. I don't believe any need for executive session, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Ramos.
Arroyo moves.
Should be second.